ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, we often think better opportunity, better pay, a better education, and a better future. But what we don't talk about enough is the emotional cost that comes with it. ਉਹ emotional cost ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਗਜ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਦਾ, but it impacts the decisions we make on a daily. Hi, I'm Sapreet Kaur.
I am Ashneet Kaur, and welcome to another episode of Do Khayal. Today we aim to explore a question that isn't talked about enough, but we all silently experience it. Do we owe our parents a certain version of success? After everything they've sacrificed, moving to a country where they don't know anyone, do we owe it to them to give them a certain life, a certain career that makes them feel like their migration was worth it?
Yes, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ unstated understanding ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕੋ. And over time that thought starts to become a sense of pressure and it starts to almost feel mandatory to succeed.
And through this conversation, we're not trying to blame anyone. We're trying to hold compassion for our parents. Through this conversation, we're trying to hold compassion for our parents while also exploring the conversation of the cost that we inherited due to migration. Dunya te sare parents hi sacrifice karte hain because they want what's best for their kids. We've seen people in Punjab, our relatives, ਉਹ ਕਰਜ਼ੇ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਆਪਦੇ ਜਵਾਕਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਫੀਸਾਂ ਭਰਦੇ ਆ, ਕਰਜ਼ੇ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਆ so they can have the opportunities that they never had in life, so they can have the best chance at succeeding. And for our families, our parents, ਉਹ ਕਰਜ਼ੇ ਚੁੱਕ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਆਏ ਆ so they can raise their kids in an environment that gives them the best opportunities in life. So it's not that ਇੱਕ ਦਾ sacrifice ਦੂਜੇ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. It's just different. Because imagine being in your late 20s, only a few years older than we are right now, packing up your life in 2 suitcases and moving to a completely foreign land where you don't know the language, you don't have any relatives, you don't have any community, any support system, and starting from scratch just so you can raise your kids' environment again that gives them the best opportunities to succeed in life. And imagine missing out on countless weddings, countless funerals, missing everything, missing your own family, being distanced from your own parents, and you're not even able to visit them whenever you want because you've chosen to move to a foreign country where it's not always just as easy. Be like jana chahne ho to jao.
And I've seen my parents go through that struggle as well. Moving in their mid-30s, I moved with them, so I've seen what they've been through and the sacrifices they've made just for me to have the life that I'm currently living. And I've seen my mum work endless hours. My dad worked day and night. My mum being apart from her parents for around 7 to 8 years. So it's not easy. ਤੇ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾਗਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਆ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇ in return give us this. It's just because I've seen them go through everything that I feel the responsibility to be able to give back to them and honor their sacrifices one.
And I feel like every child from an immigrant family, they have their own stories, their own sacrifices that they have witnessed. Like for me, I was apart from my parents for over 7 years because they moved abroad to build a lifestyle. So me and my brother could move here and have those opportunities that they never had. And exactly like you said, no one ever sits you down and says, "Be ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਕੁਛ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਨੂੰ repay ਕਰੋ." But it's just something we start to internalize at some point as well because we've seen so many sacrifices, we've seen so much financial instability as well that we feel like it's our responsibility to choose careers, to build a lifestyle that gives us the best opportunity to succeed in life, to have the financial stability, to give them that lifestyle that they never had. And again, it's not something that's ever been said out loud.
And as a result, we choose careers and pathways where we prefer stability, financial stability over anything. We don't take on the risk to pursue the passion. क्योंकि वो एक option नहीं लगती कि we think if we choose a stable career that this will make them happy. And at the end of the day, we start compromising on a lot of things as well, and we start living double lives. एक करे एक बार.
Exactly, and then that's when it starts to become when you start living that double life because you think that is what you. We've come across so many people. They choose the careers, they choose the degrees because they think it will make their parents happy. And you suppress your passions. You don't actually pursue what you want because you feel like, obviously there's a risk associated with passion. If you want to go in a field that's not as glamorous as it would be with a safer choice like law or medicine or something like that, right? And I feel like it's not something that our parents would want. They want their kids to be happy, but it's just something we internalize.
Well, even our parents, yes, they do express their concerns perhaps for pursuing something like in arts. There's a lot of risk associated with it, but their advice comes from a perspective and from a place of concern. Be they don't want us to go through what they've been through. ਉਹ ਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹਣਗੇ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਸਟਰਗਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖੀਏ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਮੂਵ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ. And as a result, we start to internalize that responsibility. And even, especially, I feel like it differs for an older child. Like, as the oldest, I'm pretty sure you've experienced that as well. It feels like it's our responsibility to take on, to make sure that our parents do succeed one day and their sacrifices are worth it.
Yeah, but I feel like as an older sibling, we want our younger siblings to follow in the right paths as well. So kind of like a responsibility older child syndrome. So we want to build a life that they can look up to as well. So and there's always that responsibility that ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ younger sibling ਵੀ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੀ follow ਕਰੂਗਾ. So you kind of just always scared to do something because you're like, oh, how would my youngest sibling interpret it?
For them as well. They look up to us. ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, there's this automatic thing ਵੀ ਫਿਰ ਦੂਜਾ ਵੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਕਰੂ. And I feel like personally, I can speak for this, what I've seen my parents go through when we moved here, perhaps my sister hasn't, because she is like further than me as well. And as the second child, they are a lot more sheltered as well. Whereas the older child, they've seen what they've been through. I've seen my parents go through a lot of things that perhaps my sister hasn't. And as a result, it feels like this responsibility to guide them.
It falls on your own shoulders. And that's like an added on pressure as well. And again, ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ, but it's just something we feel. It's like a responsibility that we put on our shoulders as well. And for us, we both chose law as our degrees, and it's not because, especially for me and you as well, ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਰਦਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ oh you have to pursue those degrees because your siblings will look up to you if you did that, or it will give you the best opportunities in life, like oh you can make the most money out of it. It's something we found our way, but a lot of people don't get the opportunity as well, because especially with brown immigrant families, success is measured through money. The more money you make, the more financially stable you are, the more successful you are.
For me personally, we both had the options to choose what we wanted to, and not everyone does. Like for me personally, when I decided that I wanted to pursue my side hustle, which was personal training, I had the option to be able to go and do that. I did have a lot of backlash from people outside. Baro log in this, stick to law, that's more stable. Jedi line te why are you like mucking around here and there, wasting time? But my parents gave me the option to try something. They were like, honi umara, and just give it a shot, see if it works out. Je tenu vadiya lagda, that's always an option that you can pursue. But not everyone has that option.
Not everyone has that support.
Not everyone has a support system to be able to do that.
That's what I mean. How do we find the right balance? So how do we find the right balance? Because I don't think any parent would want their kid to be unhappy in life.
I feel like a lot of it comes down to communicating, because our parents' advice a lot of the time comes out of concern. Kyunki ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ life dekhiya and the way they've been raised is usually in survival mode, and their advice comes from a place of concern and protect. So if we're able to come down and communicate, this is what I want, this is what makes me happy, and show them the path that you want to pursue, it's a lot easier for them to be able to understand that where you're coming from, and you can manage to find a middle ground in that. Whereas if you jump to conclusions first hand, be ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਉਹ ਆਈ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ, ਆਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, then you will never be able to find your way and find kind of your happiness and step aside from that traditional stability that you're chasing.
That's true. And I feel like when we start measuring success through happiness and not through money or materialistic things, that's when we'll actually succeed in life.
Thank you for watching this episode on Do Khyal. We hope you enjoyed it. Do comment down your thoughts and experiences.